Alright, here's a chapter 8. This chapter does not have a lot of new information on calculation, accounting, but it's the application of all the data all the costs, operating income, margins, and so on, contribution margins, and so on. How do we use those? Why do we learn those? Why do we need to calculate those numbers? And how do we use those for decision making? That's the chapter 8. It's not so difficult. It's more theoretical and practical in the use of all the numbers we can calculate. Let's see what we can do with them. First objective: describe and identify information relevant to short-term business decisions. Business decisions may be long-term and short-term. Short-terms are there are a list of decisions we may take a look. It's something will have a short-term effect, or will, when you make some decisions, that will be affecting the business in a pretty short term, pretty immediate. So let's take a look. So how managers make decisions. So there are several things we are going to take a look. First is to see what business goals we are having, and then identify what alternatives we have. So we're going to see some examples, and then we're going to gather and analyze the relevant information. So every decision should be based on the analysis of available data and all the information we have. We're going to choose the best way to do the business, best alternative, and then we implement a decision and then do the follow-up. So this is a kind of the path of how decisions are made by the managers. Oops. The relevant is about how relevant the information you're gathering is to the decisions or alternative decisions you may have. So the information we're looking at here are expected future data. So what the cost and the revenue we're going to have, and that differs among alternative courses of our action. So we'll see if we take action 1, action 2, action 3, what result are we getting to the cost in the cost and revenue. So it's both quantitative and qualitative. So they both are maybe just, they can be numbers, and they can be something qualitative. It's not just numbers. Okay, some yes and no kind of question can be qualitative. And our irrelevant information will be costs that do not differ between alternatives. So it doesn't matter. We take action 1, action 2. This cost doesn't matter. So this will be irrelevant information. Sunk cost incurred in past and cannot be changed. So those are also irrelevant information. So when we're making decisions, we're looking for the information that's relevant. We are going to avoid the irrelevant information. And there are some non-financial information that may be relevant. Non-financial qualitative factors also play a role, and they are closing manufacturing plant, and layoff employees, outsourcing, discontinued, discounted prices, and select customers, so on. There are many things that may be affecting our decision, and they're not cost, they're not revenue, but they can have a big impact on the decisions we'll be making. So managers who ignore qualitative factors can make serious mistakes. So, for example, when you make decisions, and if you only look at the cost and revenue issues of the past, without looking at the current competing, the market conditions, then that could be very disastrous sometimes. Okay, so for example, California is in a drought. Have been drought for over 4 years. So I don't know if there's any improvement in the summer, even though we have seen some rains in this winter. Let's assume the drought is still coming, If the manager didn't take the drought condition into consideration, start and sell a lot of plants, for example, that requires a lot of water, then the business may be not so good because people are not going to buy those plants from them because they require a lot of watering. So those are not any financial information, numbers or anything. Those are the market condition. That's part the weather condition and so on. So they also all need to be taken into consideration when the decision is made. So 6 short special decisions are special sales orders. I want to take a look at each one. Pricing, discontinuing products, departments and stores, product mix, outsourcing, and selling as is or processing further. So there are some keys to making short-term special decisions. So decisions approach, a relevant information approach, or incremental analysis approach. That's covered in this chapter. And there are 2 keys in analyzing the short-term special business decisions. So basically, it's here. The first one, focus on the relevant revenue, cost, and profit. And then we're going to use contribution margin approach that separates variable costs from fixed costs. Okay, so let's take a look. Again, this is not a very difficult chapter. We're only going to use the costs, variable costs, and fixed costs. We're going to use contribution margin. We're going to use profits, operating costs, profits, and the revenue. All these numbers, we're going to see what we can do with this, and how we are going to make decisions based on the available numbers. Sustainability, I know we have this all the time. It's about environment and social responsibilities, and how the when managers making decisions, they may take into consideration about sustainability in mind. For example, there's a Timberland shoemaker, the outdoor products maker, and so they have this doing well and doing good. Okay, doing well is doing the business well. Doing good is to do the good things for the community, for the public, for the environment, and for the good. Okay, so there are 2 things in here. These are sustainability. Actually, both can be considered sustainability. This is sustainability of business. This is sustainability of the environment. So decide whether to accept a special order. Remember, the first decision is the special order. So this is the one we take. Do we take special order? So here's a very simple, but very commonly used ways to make decision. It's also called decision tree, and it's always yes and no. So decision will be, do we do this or do we not do this? And you make decision, you say yes we do or no we don't. And this is a very simple decision we're making. It's only one question. We answer yes and no. And further actions will be taken based on a yes and a no. So here, a customer requests a one-time order at a reduced sales price, open for a large quantity. So decision will be say, okay, do we honor this or do we not honor this? If it says yes, we may say, okay, for now say, okay, yes, we may, and we'll consider further for the actions. If you say no, we simply say, okay, so sorry, cannot do that. Send the message back to them and reject that. So if it's a yes, there'll be certain more things to do, maybe more decisions to be made. But here is a very simple decision structure with a statement of yes and no. Answer will be yes and no. So yes will be one way, no will be another way. So we just plug that in here. Decision rule is a special reduced sales price high enough to cover the incremental cost of filling the order. So if I have a special order come in, we're going to see what cost we're going to have here, and are we going to make enough profit? So if the revenues are greater than the expected cost increase, we accept the special order. If it's not, if it's increasing, the cost increase here is less than the revenue we can generate, and we're going to reject the special order. So basic idea here is, are we going to make money? So if this is not going to let us make money, and we're going to say no here. And if it's yes, we may say yes here. So again, further, will this special order affect the regular sales in the long run? This will be another decision rule. So if it says yes, and it's going to affect our regular sales in the long run, and then we're going to reject that. If you say, okay, this is just one-time order, it's not going to have any bad impact on our adverse impact on our business, so I say, okay, we take it. After we have decided that we are going to consider taking this order, and we further will say, okay, from the quantitative side, yes, and from qualitative side, we're going to also say yes. So incremental analysis of special order here is, so here we have seen this incremental here. So is the special reduced sales price high enough to cover the incremental cost of filling the order? So assume that we are making 10,000 units, and then these guys are going to order another 1,000. So if we make another 1,000, we're to see how much variable cost is going to put onto our shoulder, our business, our book, and how much the fixed cost we need to have the incremental fixed cost in here. And if the fixed cost and variable cost put together, it is going to be less than the revenues be generated from this, say, 1,000 units, then we may say, okay, it's fine. So here is the either we can look at the per unit here, and mainly we're going to look at the total. So the revenue from the special order is 35, and variable manufacturing variable cost will be 24. It's direct material, direct labor, and variable manufacturing overhead. And then contribution margin will be 11,000. And so now if it's within the relevant range, and then basically it's not going to have any incremental fixed cost. So in this case, we're going to get $11,000 as the operating income increase, incremental into our bottom line. So this is a good one, actually. We're making money here. So here's an analysis. So an example. So I'm not going to go through this. You may take a look in the book, and I'll take a look at slides here, see how it's being figured out, how they do the calculation, because the main idea here is we're looking at whether the increase in the special order, is it going to increase our operating income? If it's yes, it's all fine. If it's no, then we say no. So with the pricing here, objective is on pricing. Describe and apply different approaches to pricing. Pricing here is when we are selling a product, we need to consider how much do we need to charge to to the price as the price to the product. And if it's too high, and we may lose sales. If it's too low, we may lose profit. So what is a good one? So we need to make some decisions based on certain criteria. So first one is to consider what is our target profit. You can look at what's the total top profit and a profit margin and a profit ratio and a percentage on the sales. How much will customer pay? Will is willing. Customers are willing to pay $20 a piece on the product. If you charge them $25, they may turn to the other suppliers. But if you charge them $25, and you're fine. And if it's less than that, okay, you're going to pull more customers to us. And so that's basically you're going to make this. And then you also need to look at who are our customers. What is our customer base? Are we getting 10,000 customers total in the market, or 20,000 total, but we only have 1,000 here? So you have a pretty big room to improve. But if we have a total customer in this market is 20,000, you already have 20,000, and you don't want to lower your price, because no matter how low your price is, you're not going to attract more customers because the customer base is 20,000. You have all the customers already. So those are the things to consider. And are we a price taker or price setter for this product? This is a marketing price. Sorry, a marketing class. So price taker or price setter. So are you the main player in the market? If you're the one, you're the price setter. So if you're not, you simply follow the big companies and you'll be the price taker. So price setter is the one to set a price. Price taker is to follow the market and see, okay, they are selling this at 25. Okay, I'm not going to go over 25 because I'm not going to get customers to buy from me. So these are the price taker and price setter. Okay, here's the comparison of a price setter and a price taker, and you may go to take a look. It's also in the book. So target costing is in the book, Exhibit 8-9. Market price minus desired profit is target cost. Target cost includes development cost, design cost, product cost, production cost, marketing, delivery, and so on. So revenue and the market price is $750,000, and we have a direct profit if it's 100,000, and we have a target cost is 650. And so this will be the cost. So this is a profit. Let's assume this is operating profit as we have. So these are simply the variable cost plus the the fixed cost. So you want to make sure our cost is below this range. So there are two potential outcomes when using target costing. Actual cost less than target total cost, actual cost greater than target cost. So that means which one do we need to have? So we want to actually the lower cost. So this will be the good one, and this will be bad because we are not going to reach our target profit. The target cost, actual cost is too high. So we have some strategies to increase in decision making. So one is to increase sales. We use a CVP. We did last chapter analysis to compute a target sales to achieve its target profit. So how do we get to this profit here? And so we want to we increase the sales. And another one is to change or add to its product mix. Offer levels of the same product. Offer new items to the product mix with a higher contribution margin. So multiple ways. One, offer levels of the same product. Another one is we get a new product. Remove items with a low contribution margin. We want to remove those. That's not making a lot of profit. Differentiate its product, make it unique. What does that mean? If we're selling something that everybody's selling, and people may have many choices, and why do they choose you, your product? Here we want to differentiate it from everybody else, so we want to make it unique, right? So for example, this may not be a viable example. Say you're selling hamburgers, and you want to make it unique, and you may change the taste. As long as the taste is acceptable, you don't want to make your hamburger sweet, right? But you may want to add some secret recipe and make it taste differently, and then you market it as a unique way, and people may buy from you because they want to taste something new. So differentiation, maybe in the product, maybe branding. Branding, it's about the image of the brand, and also how popular your brand can be, how many people know your brand, and the quality. The one we just talked about, hamburger, is about quality, and you're offering some different quality, a high quality, or burger, mostly high quality, but it's a different taste. So, and the third one, maybe well, you provide some service packs. Okay. Cost plus pricing. The opposite of the target pricing approach is to start with the company's full cost and desired profit to determine a cost plus price. So we got a total cost plus the desired profit. Then you get a cost plus pricing. So the basic idea here is, okay, we want to make some profit, and we find our total cost. So our price needs to cover all the costs as well as the target profit. So, and then you can set a price. So this will be the total of all the products. They're going to get a price, and then divide by units. It will be unit price for each product. So here is an example. We have no description. Current variable cost is 375 plus a fixed cost, so this will be total cost. So our desired profit will be 100, and target revenue is this, and divide number of units, it will be total will be $3.20. So this is the way when we know our total profit we're targeting, and our total cost, and then we can find our target revenue and divide by the total number, and then we can get to the target price. So for pricing decisions, the pricing decision rules is how to approach pricing. So this decision is it has two yes and no kind of a decision tree in here. So if company is a price taker for the product, we emphasize a target costing approach. If we are the price setter, we look at a cost plus pricing approach. So not necessarily it's always this. It's just mostly we use this approaches, different approaches for different market position as you are in. You're a price taker, target costing, and if you're a price setter, you are the cost plus pricing approach. And actually, this is also you can consider as a revenue approach. And a cost plus pricing, it's a total cost plus profit. It's basically the revenue. we're setting here. So here, this is another example, and we're not going to look at it. I know you want to spend some time. It's not difficult at all. Just spend a little time, and you should be able to answer all the questions as we have in here. So next objective is to decide whether to discontinue a product, department, or store. Then if main idea here is, the basic idea here is, if the cost to run a department, a store, or a department, or even to get a product in the market, if a cost is higher than the profit, and you're not going to do that. So if you're selling a product and every product you sell you're losing money on it, there's no incentive for anyone to continue to produce this product, because I forgot to mention here, the ultimate goal of a company, ultimate goal of a firm, is to make a profit. If they cannot make a profit, the firm is not going to survive, and they're not going to be there. There are some special kind of firms that's called a not-for-profit, but it's not something we're covering here. Only covering the for-profit companies. So we are going to have products that are making profit. Department is not simply consuming the resources, but department is contributing to making profit to the company. A store, if a store is losing money all the time, and this store it's not necessary to be there. So they may close. We may have to close the store because the store is losing money. So the other short-term business decisions managers face is when to discontinue a product, department, or store. How to factor constrain the resources into product mix decisions. So resources are always constrained, and how do we put them into the product mix decisions here? When do we have to make a product, or when do we have to outsource it? So product may be made by us in-house, or maybe outsourced from other place. It all depend on the cost. So the center part of the managerial accounting is the cost. So are we making decisions based on the cost? That's basically this chapter is covering here. When do we sell as is or process further? Sell as is the retail store, for example. You always sell as is. So, but not so always. And if you go to Safeway and in a flower shop, you can buy flour, but mostly flour has been processed some way, maybe in a bouquet, and maybe just put in some way. And it's going to be processed in a certain way. So, but there are other things there may just be sell as is. For example, by Coca-Cola, and it's a 6-bottle package, and it comes from they all come from the manufacturer Coca-Cola company or their bottling company, and they just get to you and sell as is. So these are there are considerations. Do we need to process our product further, and so we can make more profit? Again, the center part of all the decision here is the cost. So here's to consider for discontinued product at department or store, and here it's for the product line oil filter. We're having positive operating income. For the air cleaners, and we have sold so many units, but we have we have a positive contribution margin, but we have a pretty high fixed manufacturing costs and high operating expenses, then we find that we are losing money in this line of product, and the company is still making the product, making profit, $150,000, but this line is not making a profit. So will the company discontinue this one? Yes or no? So it all depends on the company. Maybe this is just temporary. It's not just always. They may be making a lot of money profit last year, and this is for the year, right? And also, and maybe the market conditions changing, and the air cleaners will also still start making money. So will the company discontinue this line? It depends. So consideration for discontinuing here again. Will the total fixed cost continue to exist even if the product line is discontinued? Here, these are the fixed costs. Fixed manufacturing costs. If we discontinue this one, of course, manufacturing costs will not be there anymore. But not necessary if the line has been also used, even though they are not making. So this cost may still exist. If that's the case, and you have to transfer this cost to other lines, so this may not be a good decision to just discontinue this. Fixed operating expenses, and in many cases, fixed operating expenses will not disappear. So that could be something to consider. Even we discontinue something, and we still incurring some costs. So, for example, if this is one, if the 25,000 is a fixed cost, even though we discontinue this, and we'd rather not discontinue, because if we use this one, our loss will be 15,000, but rather than 25,000 if we discontinue that. So those are the consideration. Can any direct fixed cost of the product be avoided if the product line is continued? So that's another one. Against cost, use incremental analysis for discontinuing a product. So incremental is okay if we increase our sales to a certain level, are we going to make profit? And then if we can make that sales goal, and then we definitely not going to discontinue this line, because we may easily make this positive if the sales goes up like the other two. So here it's should we discontinue? It's then if the revenue from discontinuing a product or a department store exceeds the cost savings from discontinuing, do not discontinue. If yes, then we do the discontinue. So here again, top manager, the company are alarmed by their operating losses. They're considering drop the DVD product here. Company accountants will prepare the following analysis to help make this decision. So we find that DVDs are not making good, Blu-ray is making profit, and DVD is not, and the company in total is losing $18,000 in a year. So total cost will not change if the company stops selling. So total cost is still the same, even though we don't. So total cost here. So do we not do that? Okay. If we remove all these, let's take a look here. So requirement, prepare an incremental analysis to show whether the company should discontinue DVD. We discontinue DVD at $28,000 to operating income. Explain why 28. So 28 is here. Okay. Assume that a company can avoid $29,000 of fixed expenses by discontinuing DVD product line. 29 here. What's 29? Oh, can avoid. So let's just assume they are going to avoid that. So prepare an AI incremental analysis to show whether the company should stop selling DVD. And 3. And so let's do one by one. So first one, do not drop DVDs. It's incorrect to conclude that dropping DVDs would add $28,000 to operating income. So it's the first one. 28. So if we drop that, and are we going to add $28,000 in here? So if we add here, we become 10,000. But look here, total fixed cost will not change. So that's not true here. Sales of DVD is 128. Oh, let's see. If the company drops the DVD line, it will still incur $74,000 of fixed expense allocated to DVD. So we're still going to have to pay for the fixed cost here, 20,000 compared to 874. If we do not drop, we're going to lose 28. If we drop, we're going to lose 74. So it's pretty easy to understand that we are really not going to drop that. Okay, these numbers are from the previous one. 126. Do I have it? Yeah, 126. We have 80. Then we have $46,000 as the marginal, the contribution margin here. So, and then this is expense, and the fixed cost is here. The fixed cost will not change if the company stops selling, so we still have to pay 74,000. So that means if we drop this line, we are going to pay $74,000 as the fixed cost. If we do not drop this line, we're only paying 28,000. So the question will be, are we going to drop it? The answer will be no, because we're going to lose more money if we drop it. Okay, that's basically what this first one is doing. So second one, okay, the question, let's see the question here. Assume that companies can avoid $29,000 fixed expense by discontinuing. So you take 29 out of 74, and so I'm going to drop that. Here is the total revenue. That if we drop the line, they're going to have less revenue, $126,000, and we're going to remove the variable cost. We're going to remove $29,000 of the cost. The total removed cost will be 109. So the decrease in operating income will be $17,000. So the when we drop the product, DVD product, and the decrease in revenue is going to exceed and a decrease in the total expenses. So we're not going to drop it. This is one way to think. Another way to think of that is the 74 minus 29, and it will be more than $28,000. So we're going to expect more losses due to this drop, so we're not going to drop it again as we have done. So number 3, now assume that all of the fixed costs assigned to DVD are direct fixed costs and can be avoided if the company stops selling DVD. However, marketing has concluded that Blu-ray disc sales would be adversely affected by the discontinued DVD line. Retailers want to buy both from the same supplier, and Blu-ray production and sales would decline 10%, what should the company do? So here you need to look at both lines, and you're going to drop the DVD, and so you're going to have to say, okay, we're going to expect a decrease in our sales for the DVD, and also going to have a decrease of 10% of the total sales of our DVD, and so our total decrease in the sales will be 156, and then we're going to decrease our costs. So variable cost for DVD is $80,000 to be totally avoided, and 10% of our variable cost for the Blu-ray is $15,500, and the total cost avoided for the fixed expense, fixed cost of DVD will also be removed, so 74. So put it together, 169. So 156 is less than 169. Then we are going to say, okay, if our revenue is going to smaller than the expenses, if we remove that, and then we're going to say, all right, let's do that. So we're going to consider dropping DVD because the net operating income would increase overall. So the product incremental revenue is now less than its incremental cost. So that's basically the idea. So the fifth objective is to factor resource constraints into product mix decisions. So this is a product mix, so shirt and jeans, and the sales price is different, 30 and 60, and a different variable cost, 12 and 48, and contribution margin will be $18 and $12. Which one's good? Okay, better profit one is the shirt, and shirt is $18 out of 30, so profit margin will be 60%. Margin ratio, contribution margin ratio 60%, and for the jeans, margin ratio, contribution margin ratio is only 20%. 12 divided by 60. Okay, so so this is a mix here, and we have 12 and 48. So 12 out of 60 on 48 out of 60. So 1/6, 1/5, and 4/5. So these are the ratio, the product mix. So when the demand is unlimited, and the price contribution margin here is 18 and 12, multiplied by the number of units. Promotion hour 10 and 20, and we can get contribution margin promotion hour is 180 and 240, and multiply the available capacity is 2,000, and then it's 2,000, and then we have so if we can sell all these, there's an unlimited demand in the market, so each line is going to make these numbers, but things doesn't do that. Markets always have limited capacity, so you're not going to see this often that whatever you produce will be sold. So you always want to have some mix. So which product to emphasize, and if the one you're going to have more profit margin or the contribution margin per unit is one to consider. So what if demand is limited due to competition or other factors? In our example here, company has demand for only 30,000 jeans, which consume in total 1,500 hours, and so it's 30,000 jeans divided by 20 jeans per hour. So these are basically what we can do in the consideration. So you have a number of machine hours devoted to the product of 500 hours to the shirt, 1,500 to the jeans. So these are the contribution margin for the full capacity you can make. So this is one of the mix of product mix here. What if fixed costs are different when different product mix is emphasized? So let's take a look here. The per unit, let's go into another example here. Treadlite produces two types of exercise treadmills, regular and deluxe. The exercise craze is such that Treadlite could use all of the available machine hours, producing either model. The two models are processed through the same production department. So here, the sales price is different. This is almost doubled. And then direct material is different because, of course, they use more material, more expensive materials. Direct labor, actually, this is less than the other one. Variable manufacturing overhead, and it's more here and than the regular one. And the fixed manufacturing overhead is double of the other one, and a variable operating expense is 113 compared to 69. So total expense here is 769, and the other one is 469. Operating income is 251 versus 91. So we see deluxe version is making more profit as absolute value, and so actually the ratio is higher too here. Okay, so what product mix will maximize operating income? The hand use the allocation of fixed manufacturing overhead to determine the proportion of machine hours used by each product. So which ones, how many deluxe do we make, and how many regular do we make, so that we can maximize our operating income here. So here's some analysis here. Sales price, okay, this is given. Variable cost per unit, and it's easy to calculate. 320 from last one. 88 and 168, 113. So it's a variable cost, right? So variable cost here. 320, 188, 160, and 113. So those are the four put together. And so we got to find out the total variable cost, and contribution margin can be calculated, and units produced with equivalent number of machine hours is 1, and the other one is 2, and so contribution margin for equivalent number of machine hours is 331 for the deluxe version, and then 262 for the regular version. And so I just fixed this one. In the last, you see the slide we just saw before we fixed that, actually the one you receive is just, the answer will be the company should produce only the regular model. Actually it should be deluxe model. There's a typo in here. Definitely it's deluxe because this one has a higher contribution margin than the other one for each equivalent number of machine hours. So basically this is much better than the other one. So we're going to only produce the deluxe version here without considering the demand in the market. Assume we have a good demand on the market. Whatever we produce will be sold, and so we're going to produce the one with higher profit margin or higher, let's say here, contribution margin for the company. So okay, so next objective is to analyze outsourcing make or buy decision. So companies are always facing this. Are we going to make it ourselves, or are we going to buy from outside? For example, if we're going to develop a website, are we going to create a website ourselves, or are we going to have the other company to prepare the website for us? You just pay for the hosting and the preparation. So to buy a product or service or product, produce it at home, in-house, home company or in-house, the heart of the decision is how best to use available resources. Do we have those resources? And if we do, how are we going to use that? Are we going to have the capacity to produce the same thing that we can get from outside, from outsourcing? How do our variable costs compare to the outsourcing costs? Are any fixed costs avoidable if we outsource? Okay, again, we're looking at a variable cost and a fixed cost. And what could we do with the freed capacity? So if you're leaving your free capacity doing nothing, and probably that's not a good idea to do the outsourcing. So should we do outsourcing if the incremental cost of making exceed the incremental cost of outsourcing, then do the outsourcing. So if the cost is less, we do not do the outsourcing. So here's an example. TEKsystems manufactures an optical switch that is used in its final product. TEKsystems incurred the following manufacturing costs when it produces 68,000 units last year. So direct labor, direct material, direct labor, variable manufacturing overhead, and a fixed manufacturing overhead. Fixed cost is here, and so total manufacturing cost for the 68,000 units is $1 million, $224,000. The company does not know how many switches it will need this year. However, another company has offered to sell the company switch for $13.50 per unit. If the company buys a switch from the outside supplier, the manufacturing facility that will be idle cannot be used for any other purpose, yet none of the fixed costs are avoidable. So that's something. We're not going to, if we purchase, we're not going to have a direct material, we're not going to have direct labor, we're not going to have variable manufacturing overhead, but we are going to have fixed manufacturing overhead here. For $408,000 will still be here. So we're going to see how much we can. Are we going to still do the outsourcing, or we're going to make by ourselves? Are they the same thing? Okay. Given the same structure, should the company make or buy? Should analysis. So there'll be another assumption here. We're going to do that. To make a unit is $9 per unit, the direct material. So this one is a total direct material cost divided by total units, $9. $2 for direct labor, same thing, divided by the 68. So this is a given number. Variable overhead is $1. So variable cost per unit will be $12 to make. And here, this is to buy, and we're going to pay for it. It's a $13.50 per unit. And cost to make unit minus cost to buy will be $150. So this does not consider the fixed cost. Here, let's see. The manufacturing facility, when be idle, cannot be used for any other purposes, yet none of the fixed costs are avoidable. So it's still going to have that cost. So let's see what they do here. And so basically The idea is even before we consider those fixed costs, and still the making is a lot less expensive than to buy, and it's $15 cheaper. You when you do this times 68, even more, there'll be a lot of money can be saved. So we are still going to be making. So TEKsystem should continue to make the switch. Okay, so that's basically the answer of the first question. Second one, I now assume that the company can avoid $97,000 fixed cost a year by outsourcing production. In addition, because sales are increasing, the company needs 73,000 switches a year rather than 68 switches. What should the company do now? So we're going to take a look. Okay, we can avoid $97,000 of fixed cost. What was the first one? So we can avoid from this one. So to make switch, variable cost per unit, and so $12 and 73. That's a new volume. So to put that, the total variable cost will be $876,000 plus the fixed cost will be $1,284. So total relevant cost will be this. And if you buy switch, and we're going to be $13.50 times 73, and that will be 985,500, and a fixed cost will be 408 minus whatever number 97. So we got $311,100 over here. $311,100 will be add the cost into here. So the total relevant cost will be 1296,000. So then this one's smaller than this one, so it's just cheaper. So the cost will be lower to make. Even if it's a small difference, it's only less than $10,000. It's only $9,500. Is that right? No, it's even less than that. $7,500 less to make that. So because this is to make is less expensive, so we're still going to make. So here it's still cheaper for the company to make its own switches rather than to outsource the switches. So given the scenario, what is the most TEKsystems would be willing to pay to outsource the switches? So cost if making switch equals to cost of outsourced switches. It's like a break-even point. So the bottom line is, okay, we're not going to lose a penny, or we're not going to make a penny. Then that's the starting point that we can do the outsourcing. Or we say variable cost plus fixed cost equals to variable cost equal plus fixed cost here. Basically, we have 12 times the volume plus the cost equals to x times whatever number we have here, and it'll be the same. So the savings on here is going to transfer into the savings to here. So then basically, if they're the same, then this is the total price that we can accept for the switches we purchase. So here, $13.33. So how much are we charging us? $13.50. So $13.50 is higher than $13.33, and so we are going to accept the offer. We're not going to accept the offer because the outsourcing is more expensive than the accepted price we have here. Okay. Objective number 7, decide whether to sell a product as is or produce it further. So how much revenue is generated if we sell the product as is? It's easy. The unit at the cost times at the price and times unit total volume. Then we get the revenue here. How much revenue is generated if we sell the product after producing it further? And we're expecting to put more onto the price. So we're going to have a new price times the total units. Then we can get that. And how much would it cost to process the product further? So if the revenue increased can cover all the costs to produce the product further, and then we are going to say, oh, that's good. So we are going to make more on the revenue on the bottom line. So here, sell as is, 250,000. So there's no extra cost to process that. Say 250,000. So we'll process further another product. It becomes another product. So we're going to make more from $5 to up to $7. So we're still going to sell the same amount. So it'll be 335. And then we are going to have to pay for the cost to process that. It's a $37.5, and then we're going to make $312,000 or $500. Oh, we're going to make more, and the answer will be yes. Let's do that because we're going to add some more into our operating income. So here this decision tree. Decision rule says sell as is or produce further. Process further. If the extra revenue from the processing exceeds extra cost, then we do that. If not, forget it. Okay. So here's the example. We're not going to do this here. We already go over an hour. So again, it's pretty simple. The basic idea here is, okay, it's here. And when we process that, and the process revenue minus as is revenue, let's do this. The process revenue increased, and it's going to be more than the increased cost. So use this revenue minus this revenue. That's greater than the cost for the processing the new product, the product further. So then we are going to do that. Otherwise, we have to say no. All right, so that's basically the chapter number 8. Again, it's not really a difficult one and does not require a lot of math. It's only some logic to understand the relationship between all the variables we have studied. All right, see you next time.